busy dads, busy people everywhere. I create this channel to share my training journey with you all, and I try to be an exemplar of consistency. I post all 4 of my workouts every week, just as a way of showing you that even if they're not always of the highest possible quality, they can always get done. Unfortunately, this week I can't see myself being able to complete my final workout, which is tremendously frustrating. I've just tried 3 different attempts and I'm in too much pain to continue. I managed about 7 minutes of training volume before I had to just give up. I picked up some kind of, if not injury, aggravation, which I really hope will have cleared itself up by the end of the weekend if I stretch and just take it easy. I want to stress that burpees are an entirely safe movement, my friends. This injury did not come from burpee training. It's kind of embarrassing. The reason it came around is that last night I went to a concert, a jazz concert, with one of my favourite musicians. It was the first time I've done something like that in some years. It was a very powerful experience for the busy dad, my friends. The music hit me hard. It hit me deep. And unfortunately, jazz gigs, unlike at say rock gigs, the convention is that you sit down very politely and just watch away, and maybe give some applause at the end. And that's not my style. So I found my body really wanting to move in spite of the format of the gig, and so I was kind of twitching and squirming and reacting to the music in my seat. And at some point I was so tense, my body was so tight, I was so enthralled by the music that I've aggravated an old injury that I had from jiu-jitsu in my rhomboids, my upper left part of my back. And the tricky thing about it is, aside from the fact that there's a really unpleasant pain across my shoulders and neck, it's agony to extend my diaphragm and to breathe in deeply. And so 6 counts were aggravating the injury. I started squatting, but unfortunately I was just suffering real shooting pain from the inhale, and so for fear of aggravating the injury or just putting myself into too much pain for no real benefit, I've decided to say goodbye to this session. Now, saying goodbye to a session before it's complete, I can't stand it. It hurts me inside. It really hurts. It's going to be a real effort for me to keep my composure and my equanimity over the weekend, to stay kind and happy and good-natured, because I'm going to be in a state of real frustration and impatience. But what I have to do, and this is something that applies to all of you if you're working through an injury, is first of all make sure that the diet is stricter than ever. And the reason for that is that if you can't train, you need to do something that reaffirms your identity as someone who cares about training. Eating well and putting some discipline and foresight into your diet is a great way of reminding yourself of who you are. So that's very important during a layoff. And the other thing is going to be to stretch patiently, to set aside as much time for stretching as I usually would for training, and just nourish myself back to a state of health. Hopefully when Monday comes around, I'll be in a position to attack again, hit a set of 6 counts. But just for the sake of transparency, letting you know why I'm not posting a 4th workout for this week. For the first time in 2 years, I'm skipping a session. It does not feel good. It really, really, really doesn't feel good. In fact, it's kind of devastating, given the mindset I've developed. And that is, my friends, the mindset that you have to develop if you want to stay consistent, not just over a couple of weeks or months. And I mean, plenty of people who try the Busy Dad program for a month and then drop it. But if you want to stay consistent over years, you need to create a sacred space around your training. When I talk about the pledge to set aside 80 minutes at the beginning of your week, I mean a pledge that's written in blood. As soon as you start making excuses, as soon as you start skipping sessions, your practice is in peril. You must do everything you can to protect your practice. And a byproduct of that, psychologically, is that if you're forced to skip a session, you should be devastated. Now, as a father, a friend, as someone that other people need to be around, you need to find a way of overcoming that devastation so that you can you're not in a bad mood. But you should feel that devastation and you should hold on to it, because that's the hunger that you need to keep coming back. As soon as you miss a session, whether it's for legitimate reasons or not, your training practice is in peril. So that's the final thing I'm going to say to you, is that if you miss a session for any reason at all, you must get your head down when you get back to your training the next week. You must be very disciplined, very focused, and you really must just not even look up until you've put 2-3 months behind you again to build your practice on a surer footing. Because as I say, when the cracks start to appear, you're really putting your practice in danger. And we all know, all of us who have a training practice, we know what it does for us. We know that we've found the secret that other people haven't found. That so many of the missing links in life, they suddenly fall into your hand. The puzzle is complete when you train properly, consistently, as a practitioner, rather than someone who just relies on motivation. So, protect your practice, my friends. I'll be protecting mine, that's for sure. And for those of you who have stuck with me all 7.5 of these minutes, thanks for indulging the frustrated ramblings of a busy dad. I hope you found a little bit of wisdom in there, and I'll see you all again next week. Take care, my friends.